Vendor to vendor, it's gonna be a great portion, great section for you guys. Again, I said in the beginning, don't just take my word for it. Hear from the people who have done it, who have made it happen, who have started in the same position as you all and gotten to a great place. And each one of them have a unique story, and with their story comes a lot of war wounds. Right? You want to deal with people who have skins on the wall, people that know what it takes and have done it and have been through the fire and come out better. So we all in this market format have had very intimate relationships with these people because we've seen them grow in such a crazy way. And I will be honest with you, I'm extremely proud of everybody we're about to bring on stage. So without further ado, we talked earlier about Mr. Leslie's Cheesecake. I think it's time for you to meet the big guy himself. So Marcus Leslie, come on out. Next person who want to come out, near and dear to my heart, I spoke about her earlier, would not have been able to make so many connections happen at a crucial time in my career when trying to start up Rivertown Market. And proud, I hope I can announce this, but she's in like 102 Kroger stores now, but we won't talk about that too much. Come on out, Tara from Gus & Gray. I really love this next person because her story is great. We spoke at the Southfield Sourcing Summit together. She's been a great, hilarious. She's been a great advocate for what we do here at Market Format, and she's very passionate. Hannah from Hummus Goodness, everybody. Last but certainly not least, there's a lot of people in the room that are need to know. I would say this lady is definitely need to know. She's kind of, in my opinion, somebody asked me, like, what does Christine Kwan do? And I'm like, everything. So she works extremely hard at the Eastern Market. She's one of the best contacts we have. Everybody welcome Miss Christine Kwan from the Eastern Market. So we're going to spend a little bit of time and let you hear it from them, let you hear their stories one by one, and we'll kind of go from there, and I'll let you guys know what's next. But I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Leslie.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Woo!
All right, that was cool for the first time. I know y'all kind of asleep, and you just, hey, what's up, everybody? What up, though? That's what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm extremely excited to be here. Big shout out to Myers. Big shout out to Marcus. This is my guy right here. Not because we have the same name, although that's pretty cool. A little history behind the name Marcus. It means hammer or strong in the visual. And so, yeah, so we know how to crack through some things. So I want to take this time to really, be transparent with you and let you know that for most of you in the room, how many vendors we have in the room right now? And how many potential vendors do we have in the room? All right. Awesome. So I just want to let you know I'm just like you. So they said share a little bit of your backstory. For most of you that don't know, I'm born and raised in Detroit, West Side.
West Side.
West Side.
Okay. Not the outskirts, Schaefer and Puritan. I grew up on LaSure, right? Okay, yeah, down the street from Cerveny. Huh? Stands right around the corner. I got my hair cut right across the street from Dexter Barbershop. Thomas, that's my guy. And so the reason I start with that because I'm just a little black boy who grew up on the west side of Detroit, right? Who never actually thought that I would be here, never actually thought that I'd be in Myers. Do we have a Myers in the city yet? I'm talking about like 8 Mile, yeah, it's still there. Okay. When I found that out, I was like, yo, that's dope, right? So moving to Lansing, when I went to college in 98, I'm like, yo, Myers is up the street and around the corner because we didn't have that. Now I'm in Myers, right? So I said it to say, some of you you were never a little black boy, whether you're of a different culture, background, whatever the case might be, but 20 years of making and baking cheesecake just because I love to do what I did. I love to introduce happiness. I don't sell cheesecake. Happiness is what the customers take home. And that's real talk because cake, food in itself is a timestamp, right? It's a memory. I can go through this room and I ask each and every one of you, can you tell me that favorite meal you grew up eating? You know, maybe your big mama, your auntie, your grandma. We all have that story. And for me, I wanted to introduce an experience. And it was my auntie who reminded me, baby, why don't you do the thing that you love to do, right? When I didn't know that I had a skill set, when I forgot about the baking I did 4 years ago, after making these things for 20 years, I decided to make this thing official, all right? And so I want to get into, one of the things I always introduce to business owners, what I think is very important, and big ups again to Shannon. She killed it, right? And she touched on one of the things that's near dear to my heart, which is purpose, okay? Now, I know we hear a lot about purpose, but purpose simply just means the reason by which something exists. What are you here for, right? And so if we can narrow that down and niche it down, why does your business exist? So I get a lot of business owners ask me, like, what does that have to do with me making money? Because y'all really want to make some money, right? Right? If you don't know why you exist and why your business exists, you don't know the customer that you need to reach, your target audience, we hear all that, right? Then somebody else is going to tell you why your business exists, all right? Somebody else is going to tell you, how many bakers I got in the house? Yeah, how many times have you heard, you should bake this and you should do this. Have you thought about adding this flavor? Come on, talk to me now. How many times a day do you get somebody say, you're a pistachio, and they doing a little egg rolls, and then you should put your cake in the egg roll. Now you got 50 products in Meijer, right? It's crazy. And so if you don't know why your business exists, if you don't know why you are here in Meijer's, and it was said earlier, you're going to just be on the shelves trying to serve everybody. And there's going to be the grand opening and the grand closing of your business. No, I'm serious. I want to be real with you. I mentor a lot of business owners, starting because I have a passion to help people. And that's one of the advice I give all the time. And I've seen many, some came through Capital City because I'm in Lansing, right? And they start and they say, oh, okay, you know what? I started with the one flavor, so I got 10 more flavors I'm going to do. I said, don't do it. Don't do it. Because now you're straining yourself. You're straining your financials. You're straining your time. If you're married, your wife is mad, your husband is mad, your dog is mad, everybody's mad at you, right? And so where do you start? You have to start with your purpose. I want everybody to write that down. Why does your business exist? Why does it exist? Why does it exist? And so when you can answer that and you discover and define the purpose of your business, that's the foundation, all right? So you hear a lot of talk about vision and mission, right? So let me make this real quick. Vision is simply the big picture, okay? If I say the big picture is to go to Hawaii, bam, that's the big picture. The mission is the vehicle by which you get there. How do you get to Hawaii? So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a high I, for those of you who've ever taken the DIS assessment. I'm all over the place. I'm like, yo, let's go. We're going to Hawaii, and we're going to get there. And my wife was like, yeah, but how are we going to get there? We're going to get there. Okay, how much money? Are we taking a plane? Are we flying to Detroit or driving to Detroit, or are we going to take the plane out of Grand Rapids? The mission is how you get to the big picture. So before you take your product into the store, after you understand your purpose, what's the big picture? You want to go into all the stores? All right. Do you want to go into just your local stores? Because I can tell you right now, if you want to go into all 290 now, is it 70? Help me out. 263, right? That's a lot of time. That's a lot of money. Are you co-packing your product? What are you doing? So you have to know the big picture so that you can reverse engineer it. Simply break it down and find out. One of my mentors have taught me you got to know the current cost of you and the future cost of you. So how much does it cost for you to run your business right now? Most of us, and let me start with me, I didn't know my numbers when I started off. How many, can you be honest and raise your hand? You don't know the numbers. Okay. If you don't know the numbers, the number will run you, right? And you're like, I ain't making no money. I got the money from Meijer, because you don't know the numbers, right? And so then the future cost of you, if you want to go into all those stores, how much is it going to cost? You're going to need some money to do that, because once you put your product into the store and you're making that product and producing it, guess what? You don't get paid that same day. Most times. That's the nature of the business, right? Unless you're doing direct sales. So have you counted up the cost of what it costs to be the boss on the top of the mountain, like Shannon talked about? Because you did well out the crib. So I was trapping out the crib for about 15 years. People was pulling up, and I was, okay, for those of you who understand trapping, I was selling cakes outside. Trapping. All right, holler at me later, and I can tell you what the trapping. I wasn't literally selling drugs out the house. Let me clarify that as well. All right. All right. And so I was doing that, but I didn't understand that it was going to take a whole set of different numbers to take it from. So I went from my crib to a commercial kitchen. And I was like, yo, I'm in a commercial kitchen now. And I did that thing. And after about a year, I was able to go into Meijer's, and I'm like, yo, I'm at Meijer's now. And had I done with it was said earlier, you cannot put your product on the shelves and just leave it there. Okay, so if I can give you a piece of advice, and I'm gonna take my glasses off for this, all right? If you are not willing to work harder than you do in your 9 to 5, those of you that have 9 to 5s, right now, think about it. Talk to your therapist, talk to some friends, put it on pause. Because it takes a special type of person, and can I say a special type of crazy, not to be offensive, to be the person baking the cakes, to be the person topping the cakes, to be the person cleaning, sanitizing, washing all the dishes of the 200 cakes that just went out, to be the person taking the orders from Capital City, to be the person marketing on social media, to be the person that's actually delivering the orders to all 4 stores and then 5 stores and then 10 stores. You have to understand that ain't nobody gonna do it for you. I tell my students all the time, right, when I go into the high schools, nobody coming to save you. So let's move to capacity assessment, all right? Capacity. Assess your capacity. So we're gonna go through a few of them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Capacity assessment. Assess your physical, mental, spiritual, financial capacity to determine your needs and limitations. Can you actually handle it? What movie was that? Can you handle the truth? Like, no, really, can you handle it? If you're working, I was talking to a gentleman earlier, he works a 9 to 5. Can you handle working a 9 to 5, right? First, second, third, I was working third shift, getting off, coming to the kitchen, baking 200 cakes, setting them out to cool, going to the crib so you can get the kids ready for school so your wife can get to work, take care of them, bring the kids with you to the kitchen to put the cakes back in the refrigerator, then come back, take the kids and get them set up. Once the wife come home, then you make the delivery to the stores. Can you handle that? I hear y'all talking. Yeah. Think about it. Do you have the capacities to go into 1 store, let alone 5 stores? Don't let your mama and them trick you into believing you can go into all 20 stores at one time. Mama and them ain't gonna be in the kitchen with you 100% of the time. Facts. I promise you. No. And my mama, if she listening, she would come in the kitchen. My dad actually, some of y'all met him because he used to do deliveries, right? All right. So physical capacity. Let me know, Marcus, where I'm at. Physical capacity. Can you manage the stress? Can you manage carrying those boxes, stocking the shelves yourself? Can you manage it? Mental capacity. Come on, I see my therapist every Thursday at 6 p.m. virtually. Not because I'm tripping. I ain't crazy. I believe in God and the therapist. And I pay my therapist just to talk because I get to unload to him. Right? And I was proactive in setting that up because my business was expanding. And me and my wife worked together, right? So let me give you a little step. I started off trapping out the kitchen and then moved forward to I'm in Capital City, move forward. I'm in all the market formats, move forward. Now I'm in all the local Lansing stores, right? Supermarkets, move forward. I semi-retired my wife full time, so she's working for the business full time. So I wanted to make sure that me and my wife wasn't beefing on my job. I can't take work home and have work at the kitchen and expect my wife to be my wife at the crib. So do the work that you need to do to make sure that you're straight here so you ain't got to shut down after 5 months. One of the biggest things we see is that vendors start and then they'll go ghost. Okay? Spiritual capacity. The reason I brought this up because some of us have worldview, spiritual beliefs, and that's what's up. So do I. Are you willing to do the work that you see? Listen, okay, so I'm gonna just keep it 100. I don't beat people over the head with the Bible, right? My belief is my belief. So can you go into there and not talk about whatever you believe and sell your product? If the store manager said, hey, somebody who complained about it, and then you get all mad because you couldn't talk about whatever you believe, can you handle that? All right. Financial capacity. I left that one in because how many of us need some money? No. Yeah, I do too. Me too. You find something, let me know. All right. Nobody coming to save you, right? For my bakers, whether you make products, you make clothes, whatever, I still hit the farmer's market, don't I? Yes, I try to hit every event that I can. We still do tastings. Now, I personally can't hit everyone myself, but I still do the work. We're 4 years in. October 19th is when we became official, all right? Shortly thereafter in 2020, what happened? COVID. Because I listened to a group of supporters and mentors, I didn't open up a storefront. I pivoted and went wholesale, and Mitch was the first person, and Rob set me up, and I listened to every single thing they told me that made sense for my business. And now I'm happy to say I'm standing in front of you, not only in the market format stores, in the supermarkets, and looking to expand into, a nice amount of stores coming in the future, okay? Okay. The reason that's important for me, one of my sayings, my homie in the back, Mo, he can tell you, I always say slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If you do it right the first time, you don't have to do it again. Right? Take your time. Take your time. I promise you, half the people that you follow on social media that look like they're doing big, they capping. No, seriously, they are. No, they are. They because they stressed out. The loans are extended, right? So if you do it, let's do it right? Let's do it right. I do another motto I have is do it ugly before you do it perfect. Now that don't mean just rush out there without a plan. But I remember I came in there. You bring it up every once in a while. Is this the right package? And boom, I was trying to get the perfect package and the box. The package that I have now is the package that I had 3 years ago. Now, we're progressing and going to move into a different package. But the reason we've been holding off, because that package, that box costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I get people to ask, some family members, hey, you should go into the box, send me $1 million. That's usually my response to everything now. Just send me some money and we can do it. Don't allow people to bully you into something that you're not ready for, is what I'm trying to get at. Okay? What I want to leave you with is what I started with. If you understand your purpose, the reason why your business actually exists, then then I know we got some believers in the house. So y'all hear what I'm saying? Yeah. So you understand. No one can tell you what your purpose is. No one can tell. I'm not making peach cobbler. I make peach cobbler cheesecake, but I'm not making peach cobbler because my purpose is not to make you peach cobbler. I make cheesecake, right? So stop doing everything everybody else wants you to do. That's my time.
Uh-oh, that's me. No pressure. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Tara Gray. I own Gus & Gray Handcrafted Delights. We are made right here in Detroit in Easter Market. Probably a lot of you don't know my story, but I started making jam as a hobby about 13 years ago, and just a stress reliever. Never had any intention of ever becoming a business. In 2011, my husband and I moved back to Michigan, and I was making jam and giving it away until someone finally said, hey, you can charge people for this. They'll give you money. And I was like, what? No, they won't. So I ended up trying my hand in 2012 at the Birmingham Farmers Market, which I did for 9 years. So the first year I did it was actually Michigan cottage industry. So I made everything in my house, followed those guidelines. But then right before that, I realized I probably should have a name for my company so people can recognize it. A lot of you have food businesses or other businesses and are starting, and I don't know if you already have a name, but naming your company is a really hard thing. It becomes very personal, and there's a story attached to it. I knew with my jams and preserves, I eventually wanted to do a whole line of specialty food, so I didn't want anything that was like jam or jelly or anything like that. I wanted an umbrella name. So Gus & Gray it is. Gray is my last name. Gus was an amazing cat that lived to be 19 years old, and he passed away about 5 years ago, but he lives on. So just make sure you have that in mind. If you're doing pickles and you eventually want to do other stuff, you don't want to have to come up with a second one. If you just want to do an umbrella, that's kind of important to keep in line. So logo design, if anybody, logo and packaging, got to hear Mitch from Bridge Street talk earlier, please, for the love of God, do not steal other people's things. Please create your own. Feel free to be inspired by other people's products and designs. I actually had that happen to me a couple of years ago with another jam maker that was trying to bust into the Detroit market, which I had no problem with, but she was ripping off my labels, ripping off my designs, ripping off my names. There was an attorney involved, so just save yourself a world of hurt and headache and stress. Just so you know, that actually is something that's called consumer confusion, and you literally can sue somebody for that. Because of that, I ended up with a trademark attorney, which is something I think that I should have done a long time ago. So if you really have this amazing product, you can trademark so many things. So Gus and Gray is a registered trademark, and our label design is actually a registered trademark as well. So keep that in mind, and I love going into stores and specialty markets and farmers markets and looking at people's packagings. Even though I still really love my packaging, I love to see what people are doing. Pinterest is great, Google is great. Just don't steal anybody's stuff. And you'll see my old label versus my current product in just a minute. Using social media, again, I'm kind of breezing through all of this because you've had so much amazing information thrown at you today. Thrown at you, that sounds brutal. It's not. Definitely use social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, which I feel a little too old for TikTok. I'm still trying to figure it out. But just one thing to keep in mind when you're using social media for your business, keep your personal stuff off of it. Like if you want to have your personal, baby pictures or dog pictures, have your own personal thing. That's a lesson that I had to learn from somebody that was kind of high up on the social media chain. And I did that, and it worked out fine. And don't overpost. I know that somebody had mentioned that earlier. When people start overposting that are in my feed, I immediately unfollow or I mute them. So just keep that in mind. Like too much information really just can be too much. You have your own business. You're going to hustle every single day, and there's definitely been a theme through this. You're going to eat, sleep, drink your business. Your brain's not going to turn off. You're going to start dreaming about it. Just know that it's a real thing to be self-employed, to have your own business. It's great. It's fulfilling. It's also the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. At this point in my life, if I ever actually had to go back and work for someone, I always say I would take a rusty screwdriver and stab myself in the thigh over and over and over again. But you'll see here, so the little, sorry, it's true. So 2 jars that we have. So the Hubba Hubba, which is raspberry habanero jam. The one with the orange was my first. I did myself. I thought it was going to be really cute that every jar of jam I had was actually printed. The label was printed a different color, and then I had the gold lids because at the time that really was the only thing that was out there. Printing these labels myself with the color, I was spending so much money on different colored toners. And then if you can see just a little bit like at the top, the printer wouldn't print that, so I would have to take a pair of scissors and cut the white off. Obviously that jar I didn't do very, very good of a job. But anyway, so I did the cottage industry for a year, and then after that first year, I decided to try to figure out what it would be to get my product into stores. So I reached out to the MSU Product Center and to MDARD and started to get that ball rolling. I had some friends that owned a restaurant in Midtown Detroit. They let me use their back kitchen when they weren't using it. I actually hired a graphic designer. I knew I wanted my labels to be simple, and I knew that if I was, at the time I was going to continue to print them, I couldn't keep affording colored toner, so I just wanted it black. So I went in with the graphic designer, and I showed her a couple of brands of jam I really, really liked, and a couple that I really, really didn't like. We're talking design nut product. And I showed her I wanted the brown craft paper oval, and gave her my story, and she came back about a week later, and this was kind of the first thing that she saw. So I got really lucky, discovered the black lid. So this is how we are on all the shelves and have been now for about 9 years. One thing to keep in mind also that I know that has been talked about before, definitely make sure if you're going to go into the Meijer Format stores or any of the other stores, have your nutritional information on there, and you have to have a UPC code. UPCs can be very expensive. You can buy them in bundles, but you do have to have them. Some of the smaller stores, like maybe a specialty cheese store, you might be able to get away without them, but as you grow, they're going to become crucial. So we are delighted that what started as a hobby, we are now in over 600 stores in Michigan. Woo! We are in the market format stores and the grocery stores, and we are in talks with the super centers. So hopefully we'll be in more stores soon. But anyway, thank you.
You did awesome.
Wow.
Hi. So I'm Hannah Awada, and I own a company called Hummus Goodness. Thank you, Marcus, for having me here today. Thank you, MDARD, for being here. Thank you, PMBC and Michigan State University Product Center. By the way, if you ever need an advisor, that's a great place to start, because not every store is going to give you the resources that the Meijer local formats do. So I'll tell you a little bit about my backstory and then tell you my experience going from DSD, which is direct service delivery, to the local format stores, to going to a distributor, to going into the distribution facilities. So I started Hummus I started Hummus Goodness in a different form when I was living overseas. I was living in China. I went to a party. I took hummus with me. People are like, sell it. I'm like, there's no, supply and demand. I'm the only one doing it. Let's see how it goes. So I started selling hummus out of my kitchen window and went really, really well. Then I moved to Michigan. And if you guys know anything about Michigan, there's a lot of hummus here. I mean, restaurants, grocery stores, you go to Woodward Corner Market, there's like 2 or 3 fridges full of hummus. But I went to a party again, and I took hummus with me here in Michigan, and I'm Lebanese because that's what we do. We take hummus everywhere. And everybody loved it and said, you should really try to sell this in the store. I didn't think there was a market for it because there's a lot of hummus. But I went to a couple of local stores, and I realized that everything was made with like soybean oil and preservatives and things like that that didn't belong in hummus. So I figured, okay, if I'm going to somehow get shelf space at any store, I need to make sure I'm different than everybody else. I will steal some ideas from some companies. I'm going to help you out here on this one. I saw what Mitch said differently, and I think he has a really good advice. I mean, Sabra's been doing hummus a certain way, and they've paid a ton of money to show that having a round container with a lid sells really, really well. So if I'm going to do something like with a triangle or a rectangle or an oval, I might not be as successful. So I think Mitch had a really good point on that one, honestly. So when I started the company, I sent an email to Natalie. This is a very nice story. At Woodward Corner Market, she had not opened up the store yet, and I pitched to her. And I was like, oh, I'm sure she's going to love my products. And she did. And I was like, great, I'm going to get in. I didn't. I didn't get in. So they had the grand opening. I didn't get into Woodward Corner Market, but I got valuable advice, which was, your product's delicious. I like it. I'd eat it. But your packaging isn't where it needs to be. I was printing on my home computer, which doesn't work very well. And, I didn't have a seal. I had a 7-day shelf life. And so Natalie challenged me instead of saying just no. She challenged me. She said, go out there, fix the things that you need to fix, and then come back and see me. So I did that. I started printing my labels professionally done. Still not the best. We've gotten to that point. Professional labels, I increased my shelf life. I got into stores around her, showed her that I could do it, and then she said yes. So that was really cool. So thank you. So just because a store tells you no doesn't mean it has to be a no forever. Sometimes a no is just not right now. And so that's where we were. So that was about in early 2020. So COVID had already happened. And so we went from, I was distributing myself to the stores. We started off in a small church kitchen in Birmingham. I would put hummus in the back of my truck and deliver from store to store, like a lot of us up here did, until I broke my windshield twice in 364 days. And my husband was like, that's enough. Find a distributor. And so I did. I found a distributor. I currently work still with Carmela Foods, which I love. Everybody knows I love Carmela Foods if you know me. They're a great local distributor. They have great presence in all the local format stores. And so that was a nice load off my shoulders. My windshield was happy. My husband was happy. Mental, everything, all that good stuff is very important. And so we continued to hustle. We went to I went to Grand Rapids and did demos. And I have 3 kids at home, and I have a husband who has a busy job. And so trying to balance all of that was really, really important for me. But I never faltered on the relationships that we had to have with the stores. And so everybody from people in receiving, know their names, say hi to them, figure out who are their kids and like what's up with them. It's building that relationship with your buyer, knowing when to escalate things up to Natalie's level or Marcus's level or Mitch's level or anybody's level, and always working initially with your buyer who is in your category and in your department. Even though we're in Meijer, we still keep an eye on our inventory all the time, and you have to do that. Just because you're in the store, it means nothing. Easy in, easy out, guys, honest to God. And it's once you're out, good luck getting back in, because it's not easy. You'll have to sell your soul. And so keep an eye on your inventory, and you don't need to call the store and ask them, how's my inventory doing? No, get a shopping cart, buy your groceries, and check your inventory. It's very, very easy. I am at Meijer all the time. I buy Yasmin Bakery bread in there all the time. I'm always like, oh, the bread's in. So I do that with all my stores, making sure that everything is where it needs to be. And also remembering you're not their only vendor. You might think you are, but you're not. They have a lot of vendors, and vendors like Sabra and Cedars and those other big players who are paying big, big money. And so you need to understand your place. You're lucky that you're in a Meijer local format store. You're lucky you're in a store. You're lucky you have a business, and be very, very grateful and humble with that. Yes. So by having a relationship with everybody in the local format, we were blessed that we got into supercenters. So today you can find our products in 150 supercenters, which was very, very exciting. Thank you. So with that, there was a new adjustment. So no more Carmela Foods. We got slotted into the distribution facilities. Yes. Keep in mind, they're called DFs at Meijer, not DCs at Meijer, so that's an important one to write down, distribution facilities. And that's a whole different animal. So we had to figure out, I'm a teacher by trade. I didn't go to school to be a business person by any stretch of the imagination. And I quickly had to learn everything about not only making hummus, but also distributing hummus. Because I now had to get it from, where we were making it all the way to Newport and to Lansing, and that's a lot. And so making sure that you understand all the logistics involved behind that. And when I took that jump, I kind of had an idea of how much Meijer was going to order the first time on their opening order, and we could handle it. But then a second order came in, and then a third order came in. And I swear to God, my third order, I sat in my car and I cried, because I wasn't happy. I'm the only person who freaks out when she gets a purchase order. Not so much anymore, but back then. But I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to go from we were making 700 containers on a great week, to making 7,500, plus the 750 that you already had from your other stores. So it's a lot of work. You give up weekends, you give up time with your family, you give up time with your friends, you miss things, and it is a lot. What else can I tell you guys? And then the financial capacity, you need to make sure that you build in those margins as you go. There's a lot of talk about, do you want to work with a distributor? Do you not want to work with a distributor? Distributors can save you a lot of hassle. You can't be everywhere. You can't be in every store. You can't keep breaking your windshield. You just can't do that. And so knowing all of those things, I think, are really important. So that's my story. I hope you guys all have great success at Meijer, and good luck along the way.
Yay, you did it! Oh, your hand is so cold. You were great. You were great. Thank you.
So again, Christine Kwan, after we have Christine speak, she's going to give you a lot of good, pertinent information. I got a 5-minute video for you guys, so after she speaks, we'll exit stage. We'll allow you guys to watch the video for 5 minutes, and then I'll come right back. So,
okay. Thanks for welcoming me here today. My name is Christine Kwan. I am from Eastern Market Partnership. How many people have been to Eastern Market? Woo! Yes, okay. For those of you that are not in the know, Eastern Market is the oldest and largest public market, and we say that it is a public market and not a farmer's market because it's an important food access point for the city of Detroit. I represent, for the market, we have a commercial kitchen inside of Shed 5 that many of you know about and are eager to get in. And for those of you that are making products at home and and know that that next step, because you've gone to a Meijer store and they're like, are you in a commercial kitchen? And you're like, no, I don't know how to do that, and I'm freaked out about that. Well, that's where we come in handy for you. So getting into a commercial kitchen, there's a lot to know. It can be overwhelming. And so Laura here, that's above us, helps Eastern Market facilitate a class every single month, except for December, but every single month, on how to get started in a commercial kitchen, because there's a lot to know around food safety, around recipe development, around nutrition facts, and licensing. So we have built a panel of folks. We have Natasha Horn, who is our MDARD representative that talks about all things licensing, and even just starting to, she's fantastic. Just even knowing, like, people panic, like, I'm in a food truck. Is it Department of Health? Is it MDARD? You know, we answer all of those questions, and it is Department of Health. And we'll help you break all those things down and set you up so that when you are ready to get into a commercial kitchen, you are prepared for the whole inspection process, and it's as smooth and easy, and you don't waste time or money before you get to that point. And one of the things is when we're in class that we talk a lot about, and I want to reiterate some of the points that I've heard today, is before you start in a commercial kitchen, this is the time to do that planning, to think about your marketing planning, to run your numbers, to work with anybody that can help you put a business plan together. There's so many resources, so many business service organizations in the city of Detroit that are ready and willing and able to give you every kind of support you need, from social media marketing to accounting to business plan development, to even if you don't know the difference between an LLC and a sole proprietorship, there are resources out there. And make yourself available to them, because they're available for you and they're low cost, if not free. Take your time. Know all of these things, because once you start hustling in a kitchen, like Tara said, every day you're hustling. Mm-hmm. You don't have time to go back and do this work. You know, you're just doing things on the fly, just trying to keep your head above water. So we know that you're excited. You make a great product. You love food. You love giving food to people. You love the whole process of food. You know what you don't love? You don't love bookkeeping. Nobody loves bookkeeping. But you need to know bookkeeping. You need to understand. You have to have a bank account. You need to understand these things and be as invested in the business side of your business as you are the joy of the food part. And so, because your product and your business is not going to fail because your jam is not delicious, it's going to fail because you don't understand cash flow.
That's 100%.
And that's the long and short of it. So until you understand these concepts and are ready to face them head on, don't start. Don't start. So with that, we do have this class. The next class is September 28th. And then there's a class in October and a class in November, and then we take a break for December. You can find that class via our website at easternmarket.org. Follow the link to starting a food business, and you can register there. I highly recommend that for those things. So the other thing that people, when they come to class, they ask me, okay, so I'm a part of the kitchen, I'm part of the Detroit Kitchen Connect. Does that mean that I can sell my product at Eastern Market every Saturday? No, that's a different whole process. So selling at Eastern Market, again, I want to touch on a lot of themes that I've heard here today. A lot of people want to sell at Eastern Market, and they aren't ready. I mean, Eastern Market can bring in about 40,000 people on a Saturday, and that's a lot of inventory, and you need to be ready for that. And when you're applying to Eastern Market, the same things that are important for Meijer stores. Have you a marketing plan? Do you have a social media presence? What is different? Who's your audience? Like, who are you really trying to sell at Eastern Market? Do we have your community there at the market? And is your product something that we already have a lot of? I mean, I tell people, if you can walk in one of our sheds and in 10 steps or less find something similar, we're probably not going to take your product on. And a lot of people get really frustrated with Eastern Market because I think we even have on our website now, like, no baked goods. And that's frustrating for people because a lot of you make amazing pies and pudding and incredible things that have been with your family for generations. But the reality is that if we let every single baked good vendor onto Eastern Market, we would have the world's largest bake sale in Shed 5. I mean, that's just the reality. And so I keep saying to folks about their baked good, what problem are you solving for Eastern Market? Like, are you reaching a particular audience that we haven't served well, an ethnic group that we don't have a product for? And it's not just that it's vegan or it's gluten-free. Those things are not enough anymore. There's a lot of people even in those product categories. So those are the things that we're looking for, things at Eastern Market that serves community that we don't have enough products for. Those are the things we're going to take. We're going to take people who are making their product with Michigan raw ingredients. So if you're using product from our Michigan farms into your product, that's something that matters to us. We're looking for those types of values in the products that we have at Eastern Market. So our application process for getting onto the market is in the beginning of the year. We usually bring it out. The application becomes live mid-January to between January and February, and it ends in March. We don't have a rolling application process, so I encourage anybody that is interested in selling at Eastern Market to follow our social media, because we will be advertising when the application is open and available. Otherwise, you can keep checking back with our website. We'll put it right there in the front when we are accepting applications. Let's see. And the thing is about Eastern Market, just like, when you come to Natalie and you get rejected the first time, that's not where your story ends. There's lots of other incredible markets. Tara sold her product at the Birmingham market. It's a great market. Birmingham's a great market. So if you're looking for other markets, maybe that's a better place to start. There's an organization called the Michigan Farm Markets Association, or MIFMA.org, that has every single farm market in the state of Michigan and their product managers. You can find a market for you. Get started. Understand, you can get started a little bit smaller. Know, what your production levels need to be. Get important feedback from the people that are buying your product. What's working? What's not working? Adapt, pivot, change before you can come up to Eastern Market. So get started right away, and at possibly a different market if Eastern doesn't return your phone call or answer your application. There's lots of other places we can go to. Also, there's Detroit community markets. There's about 30 or so markets in the city of Detroit, and they are looking for small food businesses to add color to their markets as well. That's another great place to start, and those are the communities that probably are looking for your product more than anywhere else. So again, get started with a smaller market, start building up that interest so that when you get to a Meijer and they ask you, who do you want to sell to, who's your community, you'll have that answer. You'll know who that is because you've been selling, and you've got that direct feedback of what people like and who's buying your product, and you'll be able to answer that question for Marcus and for anybody else. So that's an incredibly important step, and you can answer that question before getting to Eastern Market, and maybe you can skip Eastern Market altogether because you know who your customer is, and maybe that person isn't at Eastern Market. Maybe they're a different community altogether. So invite you again, for those of you that are looking to get into a kitchen, September 28th is our next class. Happy to see you there, and happy to see you at Eastern Market. Again, I'm Christine Kwan. Have a good night.
So one more time for everybody on the panel, please. Let's give a big round of applause. Thank you.